In too many of our workplaces, being black and minority ethnic can hold you back.
Going to work fundamentally is about earning money to be able to participate in society. If you're discriminated against in such a way that you can't earn money or you can't get on in the way that you should be able to, that has an effect on you, on your family and your whole community.
The Race at Work survey was commissioned by Business in the Community in 2015. Just under 25,000 people took part in the survey. There were two things that were surprising about the report. One of them was the fact that still in 2015, the sheer scale of employers that do very little, if anything at all, to promote equality and diversity in the workplace. The second thing that was surprising was the sheer volume of comments that the survey gathered of people sharing their experiences of the reports of racism in the workplace not being taken seriously.
1 in 4 children in primary school and secondary education in the UK are from an ethnic minority background. When we look at the working age population, it's 1 in 8. And then when you look at the very top of leadership teams where you need to see role models, it's only 1 in 16. We can't just leave race to work itself out.
The Race Relations Act was introduced in 1965, but was missing vital details. Amendments followed to outlaw refusal of employment based on ethnic background, indirect discrimination, and to place a duty on public authorities to act with due regard to promote equality of opportunity. The Equality Act 2010 prohibits discrimination and harassment against people who possess one of the protected characteristics. It is almost 50 years since the Race Relations Act was amended to outlaw discrimination in employment. What year will it be when we actually achieve equality?
Legislation by itself doesn't change minds. It stops the worst behavior, it stops the worst offenders, and it sends the signal that these are the sorts of values we want to uphold. But frankly, we haven't seen enough leadership from politicians, we don't see enough leadership from employers.
People will say that things around race equality have improved, but that's only because government and business have taken notice of the fact that there's discrimination and have said, well, we need to do something about it.
Addressing racism at work was crucial before Brexit and Trump's election, but now it's even more crucial. That veneer that we might have had before of tolerance has been shown to be very thin. Some people feel more emboldened to express their racist views. Groups of migrants are going to be feeling vulnerable and may well be asked to leave the country.
There is a lot that policy can do. The 2010 Equality Act had a provision that required all employers with more than 200 employees to report on the gender pay gap. If it works to reduce those pay gaps for gender, it'll work for race.
We've got an Equalities and Human Rights Commission, but it's been starved of cash. It doesn't really play the role of an enforcer, and it's not really independent from government as it's supposed to be.
Another thing that policy should be doing is removing barriers to making claims against racist discrimination. It's emotionally traumatic. People don't want to take claims. Introducing fees has reduced the number of people being able to make claims, but it hasn't reduced racism in the workplace, and we need to see those fees removed completely.
We think the government should change the rules around public procurement so that they buy fairly from a range of companies, including black and minority ethnic companies, that take into account people's record on equality when they buy things from them. The money that they use is all our money. It's all very well having a legislation that only applies to the public sector. We think it should apply to the private sector as well.
If you look at those employers that take this stuff seriously, you'll find that black and minority ethnic employees are more likely to be hired, they're more likely to progress.
I am an optimist. I believe that we have a moment. We are seeing some green shoots of leadership. The challenge is not to let the momentum drop until we see the improvements.